You need more routine in your life. You say, what are you talking about, David? I hate routine. It confines me. It brings me in. It keeps me from doing what I want to do. Actually, routines can do the opposite. Routines can focus you and they bring power to more areas of your life. Let's learn how today. I have a planner that I use every week. It's a planner that you can use every day, but when I use it for something called weekly planning, I get more focused in my life. My week is more productive, not because I write things on paper, it's because I actually read them and do them. But when I don't, when I just kind of put it aside and think I got it, my week is thrown off. And I find that I don't get as much done as if I had planned it. And you know, your life is like that. When you plan and you focus your life, you get a whole lot more done. And that's the power of routines. So we're going to learn about how routines can help you actually do more with your life and not less. Routines help you with your priorities. You see, we all have priorities in our life, things that are more important to us than others. And what we want to do is make sure that we're actually living out our priorities. See, a lot of people have priorities, but they don't necessarily live them. They talk about them, but they don't live them. And a lot of men are guilty of that. We're guilty of saying the right things, even thinking the right things, but sometimes coming down and living the right things is hard. But when you prioritize in your routines, you make sure that the important stuff happens. Things like your health. You see, if you don't take time for your health, you won't do it. You won't make sure that you eat right or that you get enough exercise or any of the things you want to do to be healthy. If you don't make that part of your routine, you're not going to do it. You won't have time. Other things happen in our life, like our marriage. If you want to make sure your marriage stays good, important, you've got to make it a part of your routine. You've got to prioritize it. Because if you don't, you and your wife could get very good at running a household, but not really being in a relationship. And that's why you have to prioritize your marriage. And you do that by making a routine. It's a routine that we go on a date night. It's a routine that we spend time together. The same thing is true with your kids. If you really prioritize your kids, you're going to make them part of your routine. You're going to spend regular time with them. You're going to do things to make sure they know that you want to be their dad. When you have priorities, you want to make them a part of your routine. Because when they're part of your routine, they actually get done. Routines also help you save energy. You see, when you do a routine, you don't have to do a lot of extra thinking. You see, our brains don't like to do a lot of extra work. So it really helps us to have a routine to where we don't necessarily have to think about it. It's not one more thing we have to think about. It's part of our routine. And when you put those important things in a routine, you don't have to think about them. You just do them. And when you have good routines that build you up, you save your brain for the important decisions. You save your brain for those really hard decisions that come in life. You're not always having to wonder, what should I think? What should I do? What should I eat today? Should I exercise? Should I spend time with my wife? Should I do these things? You see, you've already done those. They're part of your routine. So you don't have to do extra thinking about it. You can actually think about, what are me and my wife going to talk about? What am I going to do to spend time with my child? Because I've already got it scheduled. So what you're doing is you're saving your brain for the important stuff. And that's what you do with a routine. You make sure that your brain doesn't waste its energy on stuff that you already know you want to do and you already have part of your routine. The other thing routines do is they help you build your good habits. You see, with routines, you can stack habits one on top of the other. With a routine, you can add a habit to that routine, something that you want to do. And when it's part of your routine, you can add it to something that you do already. Like, let's say you want to read more books. and you think, okay, I need to make time to read books. I don't know how, I don't know where, what am I going to do? Well, one of the things we do every day, we go to the bathroom. And a lot of times, what do? We take our phones, we take our tablet, we take something in there with us. What if you put that aside and you had a book sitting right by the toilet? So every time you went to the bathroom, you actually read a book. You say, well, if it's only a couple pages, but that's more than you were doing. You see, you already go to the bathroom. That's part of your routine. But you have a book there instead of your phone, and you're actually adding a habit that you want to do. You read a couple pages, you grow. And you can do that with anything. One of my favorite things to do is when I'm talking on the phone with people, I put headphones on. And I do that so I can talk to them, but then I can do something else. I'm not just walking around the house holding a phone. I'm actually being able to do more. And a lot of times that's when I'll do the stuff I don't enjoy doing, like cleaning, because I can clean without having to think about it. I don't want to think about it. So I'll talk on the phone. Or if I have to do something like clean or things like that that I don't really want to do, I'll listen to a book. So I'm listening to something while I'm doing something else. I do that while I exercise, all kinds of things. You can make those habits part of your routine so you actually are able to accomplish more with your routines and find more fulfillment in your life. For more tips on how to be a better man and how to build things like routines in your life, check out the Confident Man podcast. It's on all your favorite podcasting platforms. I do a weekly coaching session with you. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes it's me, and it's all about helping you live your adventure as a man. Now, my wife and I had a routine while we were married, before she passed away, of drinking tea most every night before we put the kids to bed. We started it, we went on a vacation to Canada. We liked tea. We started drinking tea. So we started drinking it every night after we put the kids to bed. And it's just kind of what we did. We didn't have to think about it. It wasn't something that, we had to plan because it was part of the routine. So what we were doing was making sure that we were spending time together, apart from the children. Sometimes we talked. Sometimes we watched a movie or a show, and sometimes we just kind of hung out. We didn't really do anything, but you know what? We were doing it together. And that's the power of routine. It has you doing the stuff that you want to do, but you make sure it gets done because it's part of your routine. So guys, don't be afraid of routine. Make it a part of your life and you'll get the important stuff done.